You don't know how long it's going to last. So you always gotta be looking for your next. I was always trying different things. I've done websites. I've done on the side. I'm talking on the side of my regular job. I always had something else going on the side. I discovered, real estate. The concept of passive income. My first foray into real estate. My wife's father lived in Massachusetts. My wife at that time, or he wanted to help us get into the real estate um, game, and he helped us to get a duplex in Florida. It was in Coral Springs, Florida. We got a duplex, and we actually got two duplexes. I would say yes, I have these duplexes, but I was not educated in the real estate
So you were
game.
not educated in the sense how this can be a field or a next career for you, or how this can bring the financial freedom to your life, right?
Right. Well, how to run it? I was not a good landlord. It was not. I mean, it just screening tenants. I didn't know how to do that. So
And did you have your primary home before that, or that was your?
yes, yes, yes. We bought our primary home at that time, and just between we just between contracts, I just felt like there was something more that we can do. And we thought real estate was the way to go. So he was helping us, trying to help us get in there. But without the education that goes behind that, it did not last. Okay. I ended up with some bad tenants. Um, the place was not maintained properly. Um, and all these, I think, helped me later on um, become a better landlord, a better real estate investor, because we ended up losing those properties. Uh, the foreclosure. When you're just starting, you just get whoever has money.
Mhm.
You let them into the door, which is not the right way to go.
So
And
it looks like anything and everything that could go wrong did actually go wrong for you
it
with those
went wrong.
properties.
Yes, yes. But I learned a lot from that. And during that time period, we had a lot of financial difficulties being young and all this responsibility that I was not ready for, right? We ended up losing both properties, and my marriage dissolved during that time period.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, we happened to have two kids at the time. Um, things were not going right. Lost my primary residence also. This was like during 2000, I believe, when the, um, the tech bubble burst or whatever. And I had a rough time getting another contract.
Yeah,
Um,
so you are distressed both financially and emotionally and personally, so because of all the situation, and partially, in some perspective, it was the tech bubble that busted, and also this rental property that had gone wrong on you because of
right.
the lack of the education.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. So, and I feel like it might have also been, I can see the failure also because I didn't work, maybe because the properties were given to you, right? Not given to you, but they were like really subsidized by, um, the, the father that was trying to help us get in. But I think if you had worked harder for these properties, um, which, kind of brings me to the fact that now I'm thinking about, we've built all these properties and you're going to give them to your kids, leave them to your kids sometime in the future when you're gone, right?
So it's super
It's
important to train and educate your kids
That's correct.
about
That's correct.
how this real estate can bring wealth, but can also bring a lot of distress
That's
if
right.
you don't
Right.
use it the right way.
If you don't understand how it works, it's given to you too easily. It's possible that you can lose it just as easily. You know.
No, I agree, and that's the reason. Like I have two young ones, right? So not only I'm thinking about financial planning in the sense of, okay, so how do I pass on this wealth generationally to my, to my lineage? But also I try to educate them so that they are aware of the pitfalls. Just like as you said, if it's a quick and easy thing and they don't know what to do with this whatever you earn in your lifetime, it can go, into distress mode pretty quick. It doesn't take that long.
Very, very easy. There's a time when there's a lot of refinances going on, um, which probably led to the next economic, the stress of the economy during that time. Everybody was getting refinances. This was when my wife was in the mortgage business, also the real estate business. So while I was in between contracts, I was we we tried doing that. I did the cold calling, get calling people to get refinances. I got to see that side of the world, which I thought was, it also helped me because later on in life, when I'm looking for uh, property in my other life, like future life, um, you have to do these cold calling, so you have to get used to that. Also, getting so I feel like everything that happened in the past helped me get to where I am today. Whether there was successful or failure, um, it helped me get to where I am now.
Yeah, it shaped you, definitely.
Right, right. So I don't feel like it was a bad thing. So it's something that happened to you, and you just learn from it, right?
So when do
Um,
you think that shift happened? So this is a time frame where you were, learning a lot about the industry just by working to mortgage and the other things that you were doing, and you also had your learning experience from those distress from the properties that you got at the subsidized as a gift from your father-in-law. But now your next journey. So how did you get started? When did you realize that you're ready to, because you already burned your hands before. So how did you get started, and how did you realize that you're ready to invest?
I wanted something of my own. Instead of working for someone, I wanted to be able to. Uh, I wanted to be able to kind of, start a business on my own. So even through all that, we're still trying to figure out how do we get this passive income that everybody's talking about. How do we get something that is sustainable? And we tried different things, but nothing worked like real estate. I went back into contracting for IT. I think the IT world started coming back. The jobs are starting to open up again. So I got into that. Um, and during that time, I'm still thinking in between like projects, I would still be thinking, researching, what can I do? I just started saving money because, um, and then I met my second wife. Even she had the same idea that, um, yes, we got to do something that's passive. I think we started listening to Dave Ramsey, right? He was on the radio at the time, and everybody's talking about, oh, I'm financially free. I'm like, well, how can we get financially free? And everything led back to real estate. Um, we got married. We that she had a townhouse in Florida, and we moved to Georgia. And she's like, "Whoa, we got to sell this townhouse." I'm like, "Wait, wait, wait! Let's not sell it. Let's rent it out." Um, so we rented it out. I stuck a Section 8 tenant in there, and you know, she was there for very long, 5 years or so. That property kept sending us money. I bought a duplex here in Lawrenceville.
So you did the cash out refi on that to put the money out, get the money out so you can reinvest. And that's the beauty of real
Right,
estate, right? So once the property appreciates, so the strategy that Rod uses is, so he has this townhome that has appreciated over time, and he uses real estate's leverage position to do a cash out refi out of that so that he could purchase a duplex, another property here in Lawrenceville. Now, that's great. So that gets you the seed money so that you can go ahead and buy this investment in Lawrenceville. So how did
right,
that
right.
go?
I don't think I learned how to be a landlord, how to screen tenants yet at that time. So I found the worst house in the neighborhood in this rental community. Found the worst house. We bought it with the cash from that Florida property. We fixed it up myself. In between my 9 to 5, I'd be running over there trying to paint, trying to do everything to prepare it for the next tenant. Um, and then mortgages coming up, still didn't have a tenant. If you have like maybe a month or 30 days or 60 days before you have to make a payment. And someone came up and said, "Hey, I have cash." And I said, "Yes, let's take it." you know, we got to make this mortgage payment. Let's just put somebody in there. Um, 2, 3 months later, I had to do an eviction, right?
Hmm.
Because of course, I put the wrong person in there. And I'm looking around now and saying, okay, I'm going to have to go to court. Uh, you know, what do I do? And then that's when I discovered Georgia RIA. Okay.
And this is what year?
This was, it had to be 2000, it must be 2007 at that time. So I started going to the meeting. I said, "Oh, there's a landlord meeting. Let's go there." So we went to the landlord meeting together and started asking questions. Hey, I've got a I think that's when I met Scott. I said, "I have an eviction coming up. What do I do?" We're both, my wife and I were both pretty nervous. This is our first time having to go to court, having to evict somebody. But from that point on, I started going to the Georgia RIA meetings. Got some tips on how to screen tenants, how to be a better landlord, um, the concept of not running every time to fix everything yourself, finding a good handyman. Um, those life lessons that I should have learned before, but now I'm learning them. Um, all those things, that kind of things that Georgia RIA, helped me to do.
Yeah, let me
Help me
rephrase
run.
that, right? So Georgia RIA is actually an organization. It's a Georgia Real Estate Investors Association. So those kind of associations are generally in every neighborhood or every major city or the
Right.
county. And those associations is basically a grouping of people where they come together, discuss about the local needs and the local trends, the local troubles, and discuss the ideas. So if you are not part of any real estate investors association, we highly recommend that you join someone, take a feeler of it, and usually they'll let you go to, as a non-member, you can go in and attend 1 or 2 sessions for free, or they might charge you a small fee. But Yeah, so join those. But if it's a hefty amount, maybe there are some knockoffs every place where you are being charged like $10,000, $20,000 just to be part of some kind of organization. So try to see if that's a good fit for you. Otherwise, these local associations like Georgia area is what $200 per year annually, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And right now, pretty much every week we have some kind of meeting where it's landlord meeting or rehab meeting or deal makers or new investors kind of a grouping. The other takeaway from Rod's discussion was not trying to fix everything yourself, right? Maybe it's time, maybe it's quality of work, and maybe it's also time in the sense of I call in a handyman. It takes handyman, let's say, 2 days to do something. Whereas if I'm trying to do it, I'm trying to be perfect, and it takes me a month. Now that's lost rent. That's overpaid budget. So you have to try to leverage other people, and if you really want it to be passive, otherwise it's starting to become more and more active. So real estate is kind of a catch-22 situation where it can be active and it can be passive. Depends upon how you kind of run it.
Right, right. And also, if you have a 9 to 5, it's not always a good thing, to have you can't always run out and fix everything during that, um, during your 9 to 5. So it's better just have somebody else do it.
Yeah, yeah,
You cannot scale doing that. The more properties you have, there's no way you're going to be able to run around and try to do everything yourself.
absolutely. I realize it myself, right? So there's a notion of growth versus scale. And I always think about that. So I can grow from maybe, my primary home to one or two rentals or three rentals by investing into it or, house hacking or moving from one primary to another primary. But if I really want to scale, then I have to leverage teams, be it contractors, be it virtual assistants, be it bookkeeping, be it whatever, because you need all that help to scale to the next level.
Absolutely.